I'm audible. My name is Madiha Naz, and I'm the joint convener of the QM Study Circle, and it is a pleasure to be here with you all this evening. It is often said that a curriculum vitae is more than a record of professional milestones. It is, in many ways, an account that reflects both our achievements and the values that mold them. Now, crafting such a document demands clarity of thought, precision of language, and an understanding of how best to present ourselves in an increasingly competitive world. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to today's CV writing workshop, organized with the aim of guiding us through the principles and the practicalities of building an effective CV. Now, before we move ahead, I would like to request our convener, Mr. Syed Fahim Ahmed, to please address our participants.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Madia. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Sabi Bhai for being here as our guest and the chairperson of QM Study Circle, Mr. Muhammad Atif Abu Bakr. And so, this event, when we were planning this event, our sole aim was to help the students to understand because there are a lot of students who have the potential, who do the work, but at the end it all comes down to presentation. Writing a good CV, having a competent CV will help you not only in the job market but even for your various other interviews, other admissions. And I think Sabi Bhai is the best guy to teach you that. And more than that, I think today this workshop also proves that the words of our Tarana are true. जो अब्र यहाँ से उठेगा वो सारे जहाँ पर बरसेगा खुद अपने चमन पर बरसेगा गैरों के चमन पर बरसेगा तो सभी भाई being here, he is a person from amongst us and he is someone who will be teaching the people from among us. So I thank Sabi Bhai and I hope that the event is a success and thank you so much everyone.
Thank you, Fahim. Now, moving forward, we are honored to have with us Advocate Mohammad Sabi Ahmed, an alumnus of the BA LLB Honours Program at Aligarh Muslim University, class of 2024. He is currently serving as an analyst at Spicy IP, a leading platform in the field of intellectual property law and policy. He brings valuable professional insight to this session. And beyond his formal role, he has been actively involved with the Muslim Students Federation and the University Debating and Literary Club. In today's session, he will help us understand how to construct a CV, which is not just a record holder of what we have done, but also conveys who we are persuasively. And before we begin, I would request all of you to raise your hands if you have any query and to please turn on your cameras to make it more interactive. With this, I'm pleased to invite Mr. Sabi Ahmed to begin the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Madia. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Am I audible clearly to everyone? Okay, great. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the kind introduction, Fahim and Madia. It's good to be back doing something for the QM Study Circle as well as MSF. My tie-up with MSF goes way back like 2-3 years, and they have been doing some amazing work even in this session as well. All credit to Atif and Fahim and the rest of the team. We'll dive right in. If anyone is comfortable, please switch on your camera. It makes the speaker speak to you more openly. That's my perspective, but no pressure. If you can do it, if you cannot, it's fine. We'll dive right in, and I'll just mention that if you have any questions in between, feel free to interrupt me. Raise your hands or unmute yourself. It's completely fine. Do not wait till the end of the session. I'll just begin with a simple question. If anyone can tell me the difference between a CV and a resume. Anyone can just unmute themselves and go ahead. What's the basic difference between a CV and a resume? Please, there are no wrong answers, so please feel free to speak whatever you want to speak. It's completely fine. We have 70 people in the meeting. Fahim, why don't you go ahead and tell me what is the difference between a CV and a resume? Are you in the meeting or not?
Uh, Hello, am I
Yeah,
audible?
yeah, yes, yes. Nosheen, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, bhai.
Welcome, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, bhai. As far
Welcome.
as I think, resume is just a piece of small information of us, and a CV is a detailed information, I think.
Y- yes, yes, you are correct. So basically, the fundamental difference is that the resume is not a detailed version of what you have done. A CV is a detailed version, and a resume is more focused on a particular kind of job that you're applying. So you might be applying to 3 or 4 different places, and you would like to curate your work experience and everything else that is in there into a condensed form. And whenever you're applying for a job specifically, you are asked for a resume because they want concise information. CV, on the other hand, is more of an academic focus document where you are applying, for example, you're applying for higher studies at a foreign university. You'd need a CV which details out every activity that you have undertaken during your college or master's, whatever that is. So today we're talking about the CV, but the resume retains most of the fundamental points that you mentioned in a CV. But the resume is basically a more selective form of CV. You just put what you think is more important to be put, keeping in mind the requirements of a particular job that you're applying. CV, on the other hand, does not have the requirements. It can be as detailed as you want it to be. Madhya has already given out the definition of CV. I think we don't need to go back to that. But yes, so it's importantly, a CV is something that completely captivates whatever work, your education background, your activities, your honors and awards, your extracurricular activities, and everything that you have done during your college time or your undergraduate or your master's. And it's a complete package of who you are before someone starts speaking to you. So, why is it important? Why is it important to have a CV? I'm not sure. We have 70 people here who might be uh, having different plans in life, but a CV is important because it gives you anyone who looks at it a preliminary idea of who you are as a person, what is your professional background as a person, and so basically is the first impression that you make on an employer or upon university or any place that they're applying, even for internship. So first impression is very important in this regard. The essentials of a CV. I mean, uh, apart from the fact that there's not a set parameter of what exact headings are going to be there in this CV. So basically, it depends on what phase of your education you are in, because of the fact that you may not have publications, you may not have conference. That does not mean that your CV is incomplete. But these are the indicative headlines. I'll show you my CV as well as an example of how it should look like. So education goes at the top of the CV after your name and contact details, of course. Your educational background. An important point that I want to make here is, as I told you, that there's different stages of where you are in your academic career. So if you are a first year undergrad student, it's important that you mention where you had your senior secondary education along with your percentage and marks. Okay. As you move forward ahead, so for example, I have completed my undergrad degree a year ago, so I am not required anymore to mention my schooling background unless I'm specifically asked by the employer, by the university that I'm applying for the internship I'm applying. If they're not asking me, I am not supposed to provide my education details. And this goes applies for everyone else as they move ahead in the undergraduate degree. So you're the first year, of course, you just come into college. It's not possible that you would have a lot of things to suddenly enter into a CV. So it's important that you mention your schooling background. As you move towards your final year, it becomes less important. It becomes less important for employers as well. It becomes less important for any places that you apply. So keep that one point in mind. Depending on the stage of your education, you have to curate your CV accordingly, the information that you put into a CV accordingly. A problem that I faced at the end of my undergraduate degree, so I done a lot of internships during my 5 year law school, and 5 years is a long time. So you always have to make a choice of what information you have to put in and what information you don't have to put in. So education is one part of that, where you can at some point of time put your schooling information, but later in your career, it's okay to completely cut out the schooling information, just give your college information. Second is the contact information. So depending on what all means of contact people can reach out to you, this can be your phone number, this can be your email, this can be your LinkedIn profile, and this can be your. So there's one thing that we call Oracle. I don't remember exactly, but there's a particular page where you give out your publications and everything else. It's kind of an online CV kind of thing. So you can give all of these contacts individually. You can also have your email, your number, your LinkedIn profile as well. You can have all of them. You can have individually. Third comes up is your work experience and internship experience. Work experience is for those people who have graduated, who have some work experience, who have worked, even when they're in their graduation, they have worked somewhere meaningful that they want to include in it. Internship experience, I think, applies to all of us in our undergrad degrees, and not necessarily for all educational backgrounds, but for those who have it. And also, please do look at the serial number that we are trying to use. Contact information will be at the top, but education is very important here. But rest of it will be following on the same serial order that we have with you. We'll share this PPT as well with you. Then publications, if there are any, conference presentations, if there are any, courses, certifications, and trainings, if you've undergone any extra courses, extra certification trainings. And finally, the extracurricular activities, honors, and awards. Before we move forward, I'll just let you go through individual components of what all you. So I've already explained to you education and your content. Okay. For example, the heading should be the place that you have worked at, and then it can be a paragraph of what work exactly you have done. So if I can present, Arthur, can I present my CV for a change? Okay. 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 Are you able to look at it? Is this visible to you all?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, great. So as I mentioned to you, at the very top, your name, your contact number, and email. I've not put in my LinkedIn profile here, but my phone number and emails are here. My academic qualification only at the bachelor's level. My degree name, what exactly is my course name, the timeline I pursued this course, the institution I pursued it from, and my grade points, my CGPA. I was talking about the work and research experience. So if you can look at it, if you look at the second example, do you have a question? Okay. This is an organization name at the very first, and then my work there. What capacity I worked on. So I'm ignoring the first part because there's no organization I'm attached to on my first work. But here, the organization that I'm talking about here is Spicy IP. I'm an analyst there. This is my position. This is where you start your heading. The second part is where you're working, what timeline you're working upon. So I've been working here since November 2024 till present date. I've described the organization in one line. If it's a known organization, then it's fine. But if it's not, then you just describe one line for people to know about it. This is one of India's leading blog repositories in IP and innovation. And what exactly is my work? As an analyst, my work involves researching and writing on the current developments in IP law with focus on access to medicines. Alternatively, for example, I work at the Supreme Court of India as a judicial intern to a judge there. I've mentioned his name, his designation, and my position as judicial intern. Again, the same timeline of when I worked there, and then what exactly. So the Supreme Court of India does not need any introduction, nor does the judge of the Supreme Court of India. So I've just directly started here what exactly I did. And this is just one line. It's not necessary that you do it in one-liners. I did it because I needed to condense my CV in 2 pages. Other than that, you can always use different bullet points. So, for example, I wrote here, prepared briefs of daily matters ranging from SLPs, whatever. And this second line, prepared a draft speech. You can start this on a different and a new bullet point. if you want to increase the length of the CV, or if you think that it's better to do it that way, you can certainly do that. But one thing to keep in mind here is, when you're looking at different, we are putting in different work and research experiences, always mention the fact that, always maintain the fact that there are specific bullet points. For example, if there are 2 bullet points in the first category, first internship, there should be 2 bullet points in the second internship as well. Do not fluctuate with the numbers of bullet points that you use. Either you keep it at 1 for all of them, or you keep it at 2, 3, 4, whatever is your review. Yes, I think you can present again. Is there a question so far? Is there anything? Feel free to. Yes. Yes, Nadia, please.
Like if we are working with an organization for like 6 months, maybe a year now, but it is voluntary.
Right.
It's like, why add it in the work experience? Because I have to like, it is teaching kids and all that, but
Right.
for free. So do I add that in work experience or in some other category?
No, you work. So it does not matter whether or not you're doing it voluntarily or not. Okay. The financial side of it does not matter. It matters is if you have been doing it for a very longer period of time. So there's a definition when you are doing an internship, even if you're doing it for 1 year, they would define, the organization would define that you are doing an internship. If not, then it would fall under the work experience category. So no one needs to think that, when you're doing, we cannot have a work experience. Not like that. If you're working somewhere, if you're tutoring someone, or if you're teaching somewhere, all of that counts as work experience and not internship. Include all of that. Yes, Noshin, please.
Assalamu alaikum, bhai. So my question is, if we want to apply for any internship in any management sector, so will I have to provide them a resume or CV?
So it depends on what it depends on what they're asking for. Normally, for internships, they ask for CVs and not resume. Resumes are mostly for job purposes, but then again, with the caveat that it depends on the organization that you're applying to. They might ask for a resume as well. If they're not specified, then you send in a CV.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, great. We can have the next slide, Adil. An effective CV. So what CV effective is that, it has to be tailor-made. It has to come. Shahzatul, what to do if you don't have any practical experience to write on your CV? It's completely fine. So if you do not have a particular experience, you can completely ignore that heading. Okay. But the point of having a CV at the very first instance is that you have some professional experiences to put into that. Okay. Even if you don't do that, I'm assuming that you are in a first year or second year where you do not have that professional experience, it's completely fine to ignore that heading. And you can add any other experience that you have. If that answers the question. Noshin, have you raised your hand again? No. Okay. It's fine. Okay. So tailor-made. Why do I mean by tailor-made? Customize these terms. So what I used to do was that I used to apply for different internships in different sectors. So I come from a legal background, but I used to apply at policy internships as well. Now my internships at policy level needed some other customizations on other work that I have done. So always have a base draft. We'll come to the base draft later. But what I mean here is that for every place that you apply to will have a slightly different requirement from other places. So it's always better, it's always advisable, it's always preferable that you customize your CV on each instance. It's a bit of a work that you need to put into, but that is some work that does make your CV stand out differently. So you customize each one of it of your CV in every instance that you apply. Concise. So very importantly, from a perspective of people we are hiring. So I work an organization, but I also look after the internship applications. So when I'm looking at internship applications, I am looking for to the point information. I'm not looking for stories. I'm not looking for a whole huge paragraph of what work you have done. I would like to see how simplified your CV looks to me. and how easily you can make the point that you want to make the point to. So it has to be very to the point. I'll come back to you, Hasna. It's very important to come back to the point. Thirdly, it's very important to quantify achievements. So what do I mean by quantify achievement? So for example, I was the secretary of the University Debating and Literary Club. What did I do as a secretary of the Debating and Literary Club? I led a team of 500 students to organize the AMU Literary Festival. So what I have done here is I've exactly quantified the number of people that I have led. This gives out an impression of exactly the quantum of work that you have done. So anything of this nature, for example, you have been working on a project. For example, someone's from a project management background and they worked on a project. Now they want to know what exactly the project you have worked upon. Now you define your project in a manner. For example, you said that I worked on a project that was valued at this amount and that affected this chunk of people. For example, I worked on a project in Odisha. I worked with the district collector on the cultural and literary heritage of the city. So I worked on a district with a population of 2 million people towards the successful organization of literary and cultural events in Odisha. So you quantify this, and this would make it more appealable to anyone who reads it, those who know that, okay, now they have a number in mind. Okay, this person has the capacity to lead 500 people. This person has the capacity to work for a district that is 1.5 million people. So he or she has that experience. Yes, Roshin. Roshan, you raised your hand. I think this was the mistake. Okay, no problem. Professional formatting. So one of the most important and critical mistakes that most of us do when we're in our first year is that we pick some templates from the internet, which are very colorful, and they have some very good columns in blue, red, white, yellow, whatever that is. And they also ask you for a picture on your CV. But the most important consideration here is your CV never needs your picture. A professional CV would never need your picture. Never put your picture on the CV. Second, never put colors on your CV. The best CV are the simplest CVs that you can see. It has to be black and white. It has to be in simple fonts. It does not need to look very fancy. What appeals to the eye is not the way you're formatted it colorfully, but what appeals to the eye is the work that you have basically done. So this is true for every person who is going to hire you for any university you're applying to. This is true. So as simple as it could be, no pictures, no colors, and there has to be a constant format. Do not just use cursive fonts for your headings or something like that. It has to be as simple as it could be. Yes, next slide, Adil. Yes, do you have a question for us? Okay, I don't think so. Anyways, so what to avoid in a CV? So it does not need to be too long and does not need to be too short. So this is somewhere that you have to put in between. So by the time you graduate, so there's no number of pages that you need to have on your CV. I cannot give you a number. It depends on the work that you have done. It depends on everything that you have managed to push through during your college time. So, but at the same time, you have to remember that it does not need to be so long that any person who is looking at it gets tired to look at it. Okay. If you have to make it so interesting, so concise that it becomes something that the person who is looking at it wants to look at it. Secondly, it does not need to be too short. So when you're describing, this is particularly true for the work experience and the internship experience part. Now, it does not need to be so short that you don't know. So I don't know how many of you are from the legal background, but I'll just give you an example from the legal background. So, we have different acts. We have the criminal laws, we have the constitution, and you have different acts. So when you work in an internship, we do not work on the entire act. We are working on specific provisions. Okay. For example, we are working on Article 14 of the Constitution. We did some research work on the Article 14 of the Constitution of India. And we are looking at different cases that have happened in the Supreme Court. So we do not mention that we work at the Constitution of India. We mention that we work on this specific case, this versus this, pertaining to Article 14 of the Constitution of India. This is as specific as you could be getting to. This is not broad. Nobody knows what you have So everybody knows now that you have worked in a specific part of of the Constitution of India, one Article 40, and you have not gone through the entire Constitution. Because the counter effect of giving a broad point here is that you will subject yourself to very much open questioning coming in from the person who's going to hire you, who's going to get your intent. So if you say that you have worked in the Constitution of India, they can ask you questions from anywhere in the Constitution of India. That is something that we don't want. So it's very important that you are very specific. Secondly, avoid generic content. I'm not a big fan of AI, to be very honest. I try not to use AI in my writings, and I have not used AI for whatever blogs or for the academic pieces or even my CV that I'm writing upon. At the same time, I believe that AI is a very good help. You can always take very good pointers from that, but always try to write on your own. So right now we are in a phase where people do get to know that when it's a AI created content or when it's a normal generic content that we've created. So it's important that when you are writing, take clues from AI if you want to, but write it on your own sentences, the better way that you can frame it. Avoid any similar sentences that AI might throw up or that you could see in other CVs are online available. So always try that you are writing your own sentences because no one knows better than you what you have done there. I would not know what work you have done there. So it's better that you put into your own words, your brains into it. Of course, there are people who can always help create it in a much better way. But at the same time, it's very important that you use your own words. Professional email. This is a very underrated advice that I would like to give you. People do not mention it normally, but it's very important that your email signifies some part of your name and is not some of your nickname that you have done in the 7th or 8th standard or night. They also had an embarrassing email address some time back in my first year on my 12th grade. So it's very important that you use an email that has some parts of your name and does not have a lot of jargon in it. Okay, I could have given you my example, but it's too embarrassing to share it here. But in any case, so use an email that is very professional looking. My email is md.sabi1@gmail.com. Okay. Create an email, always put an email on similar lines. Irrelevant information, hobbies, and etc. So this is subjective in the sense that there could be some employers, there could be some places who would like to know about your hobbies, but 70% of the cases is they would not like to look at your hobbies and what you do in your free time. So that's not a part of the standard CV that we are going to discuss. I mean, hobbies are good to have. I'm not discouraging hobbies, but offices or places that you're going to intern at, they would most likely not want to or would not want to look at your hobbies. If you put it, it's not a harm. Just to mention it here, just to put it out there. If the last line of your CV is about your hobbies and the work that you have done, so people what do they do is they do some things from their hobbies. If they have the hobby of book reading, they start a book reading club. So that book reading club is itself a very essential part that you can include in a CV. But book reading in itself is not something that I would prefer to see in a CV. If it has led you to do something from that, definitely add to that. If you have a hobby of playing football and you have played football at a very good level, at the state level or some level, go ahead and put it out. But other than that, I do not think that you need to put irrelevant information. Finally, most importantly, correct information. So people who look at a CV have a way to find out whether or not the information is correct. If you work at some place that you said that you work, if you know something that you have said in a CV that you know. So I have faced this multiple times that questions come from any and every corner of your CV. It's very important what information you put out there. So you may have done something and have forgotten, okay, I don't remember what I have done. But if you're putting it on a CV, you have to be thorough with the information that I put in. Questions can come from, it can be a very different conversation. It can lead to a different conversation. I was giving an interview for a scholarship and I was asked for something very, very different from my CV that had nothing to do with the scholarship, that had nothing to do with my academic work. It had to do something with, I did some horse riding for AMU. I was asked questions on horse riding just because I mentioned it somewhere in my CV. So it's very important that you, whenever the information that you are putting in, you have to be very, very, very thorough with the information. You have to be completely informed about the work that you have done by each line. So it's very important when you're writing a CV, you look at the individual word that you're writing in there. Yeah, Atif, next line you can. Yes. Okay. So some final part of the this session, what to do. Uh, so most of us in our first second years we use those online CV makers that they gave us, feed us all the information. We just give the information, they give us out the CV. That's not the best way to do it. Very honestly, that's not the best way to do it because there are a lot of formatting and a lot of additions and things that you remove throughout. The most important skill that you need to have, and this is a life skill in general for your career, is knowing about the entire MS Office, how to use MS Word, MS Excel, PowerPoint, and everything else. So LinkedIn used to have a course. I'm not sure right now if they have it free or not, but sometime back 5 years ago when I was in the first year, I did this course on LinkedIn, but that goes by the name Word Essential Training. It gives you out a lot of information of how to use Word, the formatting part, and so it gets a bit tricky. When you're doing it for the first time, it gets a bit tricky. You don't know, there are a lot of spaces in between, a lot of issues that will come up front. So it's very important that you go LinkedIn. The course that I've suggested is not important, but it's important that you might go to some YouTube videos and just look at how exactly you need to use MS Word. Secondly, create, no matter how bad the formatting is, no matter how you're not able to put in any much information, but do create a very first draft. And that first draft would be foundational for you because there's some information that will never change. For example, your name, your contact address will never change. The education background will not change. Your work experience will only get added or you will remove something. So it's very important that you create a first draft of your CV. Do it on your own. No online CV creators, no Canva, nothing. Do it on an MS Word, and just have some foundational blocks to work with and keeping uniform drafts. So this is related to the second point itself. Uh, some information does not change. So education does not change, and work experience also changes. Doesn't change. So I have one. So I'll just tell you. I have yeah. So I have 20 drafts of my own CV. Okay, but all of them come from one CV that I edited some 2 years ago. That is the foundation block of my CV. I edit all the additions and the subtractions that I make. I make on those CV, and every 2 or 3 months there's something happening that I need to change on it. I make it in the first draft. I do not make it on the other draft that I've submitted somewhere. For example, I'm working. I have to apply for a job. I create a CV by that name and I just use it for that job and I just leave it there. I do not use it for any other purpose. I go back to my foundational draft and make changes into that, make a new copy for another place that I'm applying to. This is something that I did when I was applying for a master's abroad. So different universities might have different requirements, and you need to put information that they want. Some universities just want that you put your work experience and your CV and your academic background. You don't need anything else. So that is also, I mean, completely fine. Uh, and what else? What else? So yeah, just to tell you an important thing. You can create a draft. There are many people in this meeting itself. I'm not sure if I can get back to you, all of you, but if you can create a draft, first draft, we can manage to review it and give our comments on that. I think doing it on your own is going to be very important. The people who are genuinely interested, they can definitely go ahead and share the CV with the organizers, and I'll be very happy to review them. It might take some time from my end to get back to you, but completely fine if you can share it. But answering the question from Hasna, is it significant to make it ATS friendly? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So, okay, that's the format that most companies may use to filter it, but it is not necessary. Good places and other places, they do not require an ATS friendly um, CV or resume. So you can go ahead without doing it. I think that is mostly that. Atif, do you have anything else? No, thank you. Yes, so we can take questions now. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. If it is at all. Atif, you can stop presenting. Yes, yes. So I'm assuming so there are only two answers. So if you don't ask questions, then it means that you have understood everything or you've not understood anything. So
Bhai, there is a heading of objective in the CV.
okay, you don't need
Yes.
it.
So, mm, s- is it compulsory
You
or
don't.
not?
No, you don't need it. You don't need it. In a professional setting, you don't need a CV which says, what are objectives in life. It's not necessary at all. You can just leave it out. Yes. Anything? Any other questions? I'd be very happy to. Okay, just a second. I'll just present my CV if you want. I'm not sure if it will be any helpful to you all, but I just want you to look at it so you know understand the formatting and everything else. Is it visible to all?
Yes, sir. It is.
Great, great. So I've gone by this format. I've gone by the academic qualification first. Of course, the education has to be at the top. You can name it in any way that you want. You can name it education. You can name it academic background. You can name it a lot of things. And second is work and research experience, which is this is my research experience. So this is a mixture of both my internship as well as work experience. Wherever it's internship, I have mentioned that I have been an intern, judicial intern, research intern, judicial intern, legal intern, research assistant, and research assistant, and analyst. So you can combine this if you are at that stage when you have you want to combine both of them. It's not necessary that you create a different heading for that. It can be under the common work research experience. If you look at here, the honors and awards, I've pushed it up upwards. Normally, the honors and awards are at the end of your CV, but I pushed it here because I was applying to some colleges in the UK where they do want to look at your extracurricular activities. So I just wanted to make sure that it is visible to them in the very first page. Again, this does not necessarily need to be in the very first page. It can be at the end of your CV as well. These are the publications. If you have publications, do follow a completely uniform format. So what I've done here is I have given the blog name and then where have I published the blog. On the fourth number, you can see this is journal publication. Sorry. And I've mentioned the journal format, my name, the title, and the journal name as well. Other than that, the conference presentation, again, the paper title, the conference name, and the place where the conference took place. So, just make sure that, whatever you do, just follow a constant formatting. Don't change. For example, here I've used paper title, then the conference name, and where it was held. Do not change it. Do not change it by different, doing it on the second. Second, also, I have mentioned the same thing, the paper title, who are co-authored with, and where it took take place. So this is what mostly you should do. If you've done any courses, trainings, and meetings, again, the same format. What was the course and training was about, who organized it, by the Third World Network or by Kochi or by Harvard Online, and when you did it. The timeline is important. Yeah, so one thing that you must have seen completely is that the timeline across all of it is very important. The smooth code is specific to people from legal background. But other than that, I think most of it is constant for others as well. The timeline across the board is very important. Your internship timelines or your honors and awards timelines, it's very important. For internship and work experience, it's important to mention your months that you have done it. For honors and awards, it's okay that you mention the year, that's sufficient. And for others as well, it's important that you mention the dates. That's Yeah, that is mostly from my end. Okay, Mama Sahil, yes, Sahil bhai, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed, for your valuable insights.
Just a
Uh,
second, Tuba, just a second. Sahil was going to ask a question, I guess.
Um.
Sahil here. He raised his hand, I think. No? Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the end of. Yeah, Tuba, please go ahead.
yeah, thank you so much. So every beginning has an end, and as we come to the end of this insightful session, I, Tuba Khan, the coordinator of the Media and Dialogue Forum and an active member of the QM Study Circle, would like to take this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the QM Study Circle. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest speaker, Advocate Mohammad Sabi Ahmed. Thank you for taking time from your taking out time for your from your valuable schedule to share your experience and expertise with us. Your practical insights into CV writing have greatly enriched this session. You have shown us not only how to build a professional CV, but also how to reflect our skills and aspirations thoughtfully within it. Our sincere thanks also go to the organizing team for their dedication and meticulous work from planning and coordination to execution. Your commitment ensured the smooth conduct of this workshop. We are equally grateful to the technical support team for managing the logistical aspects seamlessly, allowing the session to proceed without interruption. And of course, we thank all the students and participants who joined us today. Your engagement and thoughtful questions made this discussion truly meaningful. We hope today's workshop offered useful guidance and will help you approach your academic and professional journey with greater confidence and clarity. With this, we conclude today's session. Thank you once again to everyone for your presence and support. Stay safe and stay inspired.
Yeah, thank you, Tuba. Just mention again, if you want to send in your CV for review, please contact the organizing team. They would facilitate it. But I would really like you all to create the first draft on your phone. I can certainly give my comments. I'll not be working for you. I'll not create a CV anyway. But I can give some constructive comments from my end, and can build upon from that. Thank you. Arju, do you have something to ask? Yeah, Taslima,
Yeah,
please.
I have something to ask.
Yeah, Noshin, go ahead. We'll get back to
Like,
Taslima after that.
do we have to add the recent data, or just we can add the data for school time? Like in school time, we have some extracurricular skills or something like this. So can we add this, or we have to
Uh,
add recent one?
which year are you in? In which degree are you in?
I am in fourth year of graduation.
For the graduation. So, very honestly, you do not have much information to put into. You can certainly put in information from your school time. Okay, this is allowed till you graduate. After you graduate, whenever you're making a CV, please do not put any school information. It's not preferable from that perspective. But right now, yeah, please go ahead and put it. It's completely fine.
Oh.
Yeah, Taslima, you're going to ask something. No. Okay. Okay, then. I think that would be it. Yeah. No, it's not. I told you, Hasna, it's not significant to make it atheist friendly. It's not necessary. It's not significant. Okay. Okay, then. We'll be done here. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.